Muvizu Camerawork, keyframing action scenes. Hi, this is Rob. Get your character's actions and movements set up, and then let's start keyframing. In this scene, our goal is to photograph this runner as he makes his turn up here on the end of his run. And then jump ahead of him without going through him. So do a round turn and then jump out ahead of him to finish his return trip. First we compose our image. Then we do the keyframe. The keyframe is set. Then we advance time. We're not going too far. We want to catch it right at the beginning so we have a good run down this straight path down to the end, and we're working on composing that scene that we just set up there, moving the camera around, turning the camera around. And now we're composing our image. The speed of the camera is determined by the time distance to the next keyframe, as we've just said. Okay, we're composing the shot. With each keyframe, we have 3 possibilities. We can set it for linear, auto, or stepped. Okay, we're setting the keyframe. Okay, we're advancing time again. As you see, we have our characters' movements all set up and we're just deciding how to photograph them. At the end of this video, we'll have some tips on correcting keyframe errors that you may discover. Okay, we're pulling the camera ahead of our runner, setting up an image. Each keyframe image should be like an individual still photograph. That's how you check to keep your camera set up so that your character is where you want him in the frame and all that. So we've set another keyframe. We're advancing time again. On to the next scene here. So you do see the routine here. It's basically advance time, compose the image, set the keyframe. It's a repetitive task. Which doesn't mean it isn't creative, because you have to make a lot of decisions creatively here. The more keyframes you set, the greater the accuracy of your video. Okay, we're setting a keyframe for the end, and this is the last keyframe actually. We're saving our work. So let's see what we got from that. Okay, on the right camera view, we can see how the video will turn out. Caught him. Okay, the turn is great. Like the turn, getting a little too far ahead of our character. Would have liked to have been a little closer, but that's what we have for that one. As I said, when it's set to auto, your keyframe will take all the allotted time until the next keyframe is set. If you set 1 second, it'll take that long. If you take 5 seconds, it takes 5 seconds. Anytime between keyframes. So we're going to do another one, a slower one. This is be an easier one. We're going to set up Charles on a walk. We need to set up a camera. Okay, we created a camera. Now we're setting it up for a side view. This time we're going to run the camera beside Charles's walk, but in the lawn on the green area. We're composing the image. Charles looks, since we're back a ways, Charles looks a little small in the image. So we're going to change the field of view to make it more like a zoom shot, so we can focus more on our main character. We're going to make this camera keyframed. We're going to set our first keyframe, and we're going to, if you look here, we're going to set it to occur before the video actually starts. So we're sliding the keyframe under the 1 second, and we're starting the video at about 2 seconds now. That way it's all set up and ready to go when the video begins. Okay, now basically we've got Charles set up. The video appears in the right hand camera view. Camera path shows there, and then we're going to stop for each keyframe and show you what we did. See how this is rather composed like as if it were a still image. Camera's following Charles. Stop again. Yeah, we do have an issue. We like to lead Charles with a little more space ahead of him. It makes for a better image. Now we're going to catch Charles on his turn. We have several keyframes set up here. So the camera will move to several positions that we've predetermined. Then the camera has to move rather much ahead of Charles to get his face as we move to the into the last leg of his walk. And here we go. There's a keyframe. This scene could have many more keyframes if you wanted to do that, and probably would be a better job that way. Okay, there's a keyframe. See that it's rather much of a composed image with the fire station, the sign, and Charles, just like that. Nothing great, just whatever's in the image is composed to make a good still image. Now the camera has to speed up, has to jump ahead of Charles, move into his path, and then turn towards him to catch him at the end of his walk. That's what it's doing there. So right, we set the last keyframe to occur before Charles's walk ends, so the camera would jump up to that and be ready to catch the end of Charles' walk. Keyframe tells the camera where to be and when to be there. It also tells the camera exactly how to compose the image as you set it up when you did the keyframe. Okay, next we're going to look at the camera as an actor, a very long camera path we're going to see, and then passing control to a second camera. First, let's look at the video that we'll be talking about. This is the completed video. A very long camera path. In this sense, the camera is the actor. It's by itself showing a scene working up to our first character. There's a very long camera path that was equal to about the radius of the whole set. Now we passed off to a second camera as our character walks into the building. He sees some people outside. He comes back over and waves at the people. The camera's following all this action, and we'll show you how it's done. First of all, let's look at that long camera path. As I said, it was about half the radius of the whole set. Longest one I've ever done. No particular reason, just to see if I could do it. Okay, we're looking at our character, and we're ready to pass off to the next camera. So let's look at the inside for the inside camera path. For this is the second camera. It's following him inside. He moves back to the left. He sees people outside. He's waving, and it jumps a little bit to the right to catch the person that's in the spotlight outside. So what do you do to fix keyframe errors? Well, it depends on how serious, how many there are, and if they can be fixed. This is an example of a 3-person relay. Did I try to keyframe with one camera? It turned out to be a mess. Look at the camera path there. It was too much, and when something went wrong, it was too hard to fix. Try to keep things much simpler than that. But here are my 4 options to fix problems when your setup just isn't working. 1. Just trash the setup that you've just made and start again. Consider it was not a waste of time in light of what you've learned. Or you can do videos or use the set to pull out the good parts that you can use. Number 3, sliding keyframes along the timeline left or right sometimes helps fix problems. 4. Redo or add individual keyframes to fix problems. It makes the scene more accurate. Okay, hope you enjoyed this video, and then we'll be back with some more.